Hello.
Then. Now.
Bow down to the queens.
Episode number 500.
Forever.
Looks like hell froze over.
Without any more further ado,
Together.
let's jump straight into the show. Hello, welcome to episode number, I think it's 195 of the TEW IX Challenge Run. We're here for August the 8th, 2025. We're on the road to SummerSlam. You know, we're 8 days away from the Summer Spectacle. Last week we did learn what will be our Night 1 main event. Candice LeRae, IYO SKY, Women's World Championship, 3 Stages of Hell. I think I said it was regular match, Falls Count Anywhere, and Dog Collar. We also know Gunther will challenge Sami Zayn for the World Heavyweight Championship on that show. Tonight, we have kind of what I announced for this week tonight. An Intercontinental Championship match, Okada against Montez Ford. That'll actually be the first match of the night. Jordan Grace against Nova Nebula. And we have a whole lot more as we race towards the biggest party of the summer. Without any more further ado, let's jump straight in. Oh, and by the way, of course, on Velocity last week, Johnny Gargano won back the Cruiserweight Championship after just 6 days. So yeah, we'll have to hear from him, I'm assuming, tonight as well, because, you know, he's always got something to say. But yes, without any more further ado, let's jump straight into the show. The show kicks off. Sami Zayn comes out, he makes his way to the ring. And, you know, I don't think he was on the show physically last week, but yeah, he's here now. And he goes, "What's up, everybody, in wherever the hell we are?" He goes, "You know, I was a little bit busy on the flight back from Seoul. You know, I didn't get to be here last week. But, I guess now is the time that I come out here and I address SummerSlam. And more importantly, more specifically, I address Gunther. Now, you see, Gunther, he won the King of the Ring at King of the Ring, and for some reason, Gunther chose to face me at SummerSlam. That's fine by me. Because Gunther, you are one hell of a competitor. I say this against everybody I have to face. You are one hell of a competitor. One of the very best. The Ring General. The King of the Ring is a very apt name for a guy like you. But I know why you picked me. Chad Gable will be on Monday Night Raw, and he'll claim it's because you're scared of him. I don't think it's that. I think you could beat Chad Gable. You know you could beat Chad Gable, but that's not what this is about. You picked me because you have a point to prove. Because, you know, 5 years ago, Gunther versus Sami Zayn would look a hell of a lot more different than it does now. Gunther versus Sami Zayn would be Gunther the dominant force, you know, bringing the fight to the plucky underdog, and Sami has to fight from underneath to get the win, and ultimately probably come up short because I was losing a lot. But that's not what this is about now. That's not how SummerSlam is gonna go down. Because I'm not an underdog anymore. I'm the top dog. And Gunther, I know you look at someone like me as the top dog the same way every single person since WrestleMania has looked at me as the top dog. You want to beat that out of me. You want to prove that you're the top dog instead of me, and the fact that I get to walk around here calling myself the top dog, you think that is an embarrassment. So Gunther, I know you're back there. Get your ass out here right now and let's go face to face right now. Out comes Gunther. He's got a smile on his face. And he chuckles. He goes, "Sami, a lot of the things that you just said are true. But there's one key detail that you forgot to mention. Sami, it's true that over the years you've evolved in this industry. to become the heavyweight champion. Because the heavyweight championship signifies that you are the best professional wrestler in the world. But Sami, I don't want to conquer you, as you say. No, I want to break you. Because since WrestleMania, as you've said, everybody has looked at Sami Zayn as an easy target, and time after time again, you've proven them wrong. But who was that? That was Bobby Lashley, Ricky Saints, Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston. None of those people hold a candle to me. So here's what I want you to do, Sami. I want to make a deal with you here tonight. You brought your wife, and you brought your daughter, son, maybe. Whatever Sami's child is, to WrestleMania with you to see you win that World Heavyweight Championship. Can you promise me, Sami, you'll bring them both with you next weekend to SummerSlam? Because when I grab you and I choke you out and I remind the world that you are a weak, fragile man, I want your family there, sitting in the front row as the light fades out of your eyes and they realize that their daddy is hopeless. Even after all this time of proving himself as one of the best professional wrestlers in the world today, when he steps into the ring with me, he's humbled, he's beaten, he's a broken man. And if you do that for me, Sami, I promise to leave enough of you to where you can still care for your wife and your child. But you won't get to care for all of your fans around the world who hang on to this idea that Sami Zayn is the best. Because every time someone says that they are the best, or they believe they've reached the mountaintop, along comes the Ring General to prove them wrong. And Sami's getting angry, of course. He went, Gunther, I came out here and I praised you for your talent. And it's going to be a hell of a fight at SummerSlam. But if you dare mention my family again, you're going to unlock a side of me that even nobody else has seen. Gunther just laughs and goes, is that so? Well, I guess that's funny, Sami, that you want to prove that you're as weak of a champion as you are a father. And Sami punches Gunther in the face. They start fighting. And then as Sami, gets Gunther into the corner, he backs up, he goes for the haluva kick. When someone grabs his legs, Ludwig Kaiser grabs Sami's legs, he pulls him to the floor, he low blow, does the thing where he low blows him on the ring post, to neutralize Sami. Gunther then, picks him up and he starts trying to choke Sami out. He does choke Sami out. Ludwig gets in the ring, he stands alongside Gunther, and they stand tall, arms raised, hitting the Imperium pose as the refs and people come out to check on Sami. And Gunther leaves to go to the back. He's mouthing off to the crowd on his way back. Ludwig's also doing the same thing. Then as they get to the back, he's storming through Gorilla. When, he stops because he bumps into someone waiting in Gorilla for the first match. And it's Kazuchika Okada. And Gunther just laughs at him. He goes, I know you heard what I said out there, huh? I want you to know, when I said all of the people who think they are the greatest get humbled when I come along, that includes you. And I wouldn't get so comfy with that Intercontinental Championship, because I can take that from you just as easily as I can take Sami's championship away from him. And Okada is like, Well, bitch, don't you have a fucking world championship match to care about while you coming after my championship? You know, you should focus on Sammy, you know, instead of focusing on me. And then Gunther Sort of puts his arm around Ludwig. And he goes, oh, I can take that championship from you. I just never said it had to be me that does it. You know, he walks off. And Ludwig sort of just, you know, smiles at Okada as he walks away. And then Okada, you know, his music hits. He makes his way out for the opening match, which is the Intercontinental Championship match. Kazuchika Okada against Montez Ford. 90 rated match. We'll take that rating considering there was a fuck finish. Yeah. Montez Ford and Okada for the Intercontinental Championship goes 13:47 when shenanigans ensues. Okada, you know, he has Tez down. He hits the Rainmaker pose, but before Montez Ford can get up, he's jumped by both Ricky Saints and Neville, who jump into the ring and start attacking our Intercontinental Champion, causing a DQ finish. And, you know, they continue the assault, and they even start attacking Montez Ford because, you know, they think it's ridiculous that Montez Ford got this title shot before either of them did. I mean, obviously they both think that it should be them. Not like, oh, Neville wouldn't surrender his title shot to Ricky Saints, is what I'm saying, basically. But, like, they both have their own motives, and they're both egos, and they both want to be the champion. And then AJ Styles, he runs out. He tries to even the odds. Cedric Alexander, he also runs out. Andrade, he makes his way out there, and he sort of, like, joins in the fight alongside the heels and starts attacking AJ Styles. Tommaso Ciampa, his music also hits, he runs out, and there's a big schmoz of people here who start a big brawl in the ring around this Intercontinental Championship match. When Adam Pearce, he comes and goes, enough! I've had enough of this right now. It's very clear to see that a lot of you seem to think that you're in line for a shot at this Intercontinental Championship. So here's what we're gonna do. Tonight, because we got robbed of our championship match, we're gonna have ourselves a 6-man tag team match. It's gonna be the phenomenal AJ Styles, Cedric Alexander, and Tommaso Ciampa taking on Ricky Saints, Neville, and Andrade Cien Almas. And as for SummerSlam, it's time for the biggest party of the summer to get even bigger. Because I am going to make an official announcement that's going to change SummerSlam forever. Okada-san, you will defend your Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam in a SummerSlam Summer Blockbuster Gauntlet match. And that match, it will feature every single person in that ring right now, as well as other names who want a shot. As many as 20 WWE superstars across any brand can appear in that match for the right to become Intercontinental Champion. Fellas, it is official. I'll see all of you at SummerSlam. Maybe. And then everyone's like, oh, what the fuck does he mean by maybe? But, yeah. Big SummerSlam Blockbuster Gauntlet. We're calling it the Summer Blockbuster Gauntlet. It's our take on the Casino Gauntlet, because I had a challenge to do one. And I wouldn't have him do this all in this promo, because I would like it, like, in theory, to have, like, that whole element of what the fuck does he mean? What does that mean? And, like, we're going to have a week to talk about it, and then the rules would be announced in a segment next week. But obviously I'm going to go over it all now. You know, we're going to have as many as 20 men. First 2 guys start. You know, the superstars come in at timed intervals. But the difference between a normal gauntlet and this gauntlet is that it's 1/4 of the finish. So there's technically pros and cons to coming in at number 1. Because, like, if you come in at number 1, like, obviously the match could go ages and you could end up being more worn down, easy to pin. But also, if you just come in early and win quickly, then you haven't got to deal with anything. So yeah, as many as 20. Like, we will announce that it can be up to 20, but obviously it can end at any time, so not everybody might get in. It might not be 20 people. It could be all 20. But yeah, SummerSlam Summer Blockbuster Gauntlet. All of these men in the ring right now will be a part of that Intercontinental Championship Gauntlet match at SummerSlam. We then cut backstage to Nick Aldis, who has Julia in his office. And she walks in, he goes, "How can I help you?" And she goes, "Tonight, I'm ready to fight. Tonight, I want to face any member of Queendom." And Nick Aldis is like, "Well, I should probably run that by Cammy first. You know, as much as I don't want to. You do have Utami at SummerSlam, so I'm sure it won't be her, but anyone specifically you've got in mind?" And then Julia just chuckles and goes, "Cammy will know who I want." And she walks off. And then Aldis goes, "Well, I guess I better go ask about that." So yeah, Julia calls out any member of Queendom for a match later on tonight. 60 rating. Ember Moon makes an emphatic squash victory over Anita Vaughn with the Eclipse in 3 minutes. 30 for Anita Vaughn, 74 for Ember Moon. And yeah, this is a very, aggressive Ember Moon. Like that dark match Athena had that one time where, she fucked up a rookie and, everybody went crazy because they thought she was shooting and all that. That's how we're going to have her act here in this match. And she continues the attack after the match. She pulls Anita Vaughn outside the ring. She throws her into the steel steps. And she goes to, ram Anita Vaughn into the steel steps with a drop kick. Kairi's music hits. She comes storming out from the back. Championship on her arm. She goes to ringside. She starts delivering big strikes. Hits a big back elbow on Ember Moon. Sends her staggering through the crowd. And she gets a microphone. She goes, "Hey! You put your hands on me. I want to fight. You and me. One-on-one. SummerSlam. Challenge accepted." And Ember smiles, of course, yeah, of course. Just make sure to bring that title. Make sure to bring that. That's what I want. I want that. Make sure to bring that with you to SummerSlam. So yeah, Kairi lays out the challenge. Ember Moon and Kairi saying one-on-one at SummerSlam. We'll have to see if that gets made official. We then cut backstage. Candice is in her locker room. And she has the dog collar around her neck. And then she's just has the other end in her hand. She's just looking at it, just taking it in. And then the door opens and in walks Johnny Gargano and goes, "Hey, look what I got." And he holds the cruiserweight title up and he just looks down at Candice. She's not even looking up at Johnny. She's just still engrossed with the dog collar. And Johnny sees it. He goes, "Hey man, I knew we were celebrating, but chill, we're still on live TV." Candice sort of just glares up at him. And he's like, "So what's that? What are you doing?" And she goes, "Io's going to be on the other end of this at SummerSlam. But maybe not. Maybe I beat her across the first 2 falls and we don't have to get to this. But this is how close we're going to be tied together." And Io accepted this. Is she stupid? Johnny? She accepted a dog collar match against me. For my championship. And I thought Evolution was the worst night of my life. Because I thought everything that I'd worked so hard to do over the past few years had come crumbling down. But it turned out to be a blessing. Not a curse. Because at SummerSlam, in front of tens of thousands of people, they're gonna witness carnage. They're gonna witness destruction. They're gonna see their favorite wrestler, their hero that gaslit them in a pool of her own blood, begging within an inch of her life, "Please, Candice, please get off me." But I'm not gonna. I got this chain around her throat. I'm gonna choke the life, every single bit of life out of her eyes. And watch as she lays there in a bloody mess of piss and blood and vomit at my feet. And then she will never get to sniff the world championship ever again. And the camera pans across and Johnny's just there like unsettled. He goes, so anyway, I won my championship back and I'm pretty sure the curse is finished because I won. And I was going to do a celebration, but it seems you're kind of busy. You know, I did hear that EO's now pulling up. She goes, great. You know what, Johnny, on second thought? You can hold your little celebration on Velocity tonight. I've got some things I need to take care of, some propositions I need to do, and some messages I need to send. She just gets up and walks out. And Johnny's like, whoa, what the fuck? Okay. Well, I'm champion again, so go me. I'm clearly fucking sick. We then cut to Danhausen. Danhausen is looking sad, sitting on a crate. And he goes, and last week, I went into, to curse Johnny again. But I had to undo the curse because, Danhausen got a little bit carried away. And it pans out and Harley Cameron's like there just comforting him. And he goes, so this curse, it works? And Dad goes, of course it works. Danhausen wouldn't do the curse if the curse didn't work. Why? Harley goes, well, there was a little bit of a situation in the women's locker room earlier on tonight, and it would be a shame if Fatal Influence, they were running their mouths back there. And Harley goes, oh, so what do you want Danhausen to do? And Harley goes, well, what does Danhausen do? And Danhausen goes, Danhausen collects human teeth and human mummies and rides a blimp. And Harley goes, no, about the curse! She goes, oh, yes, and he curses people. And then Harley goes, so, go and curse! You have our blessing! And he goes, you're right. Danhausen does need to make things right around here. Danhausen does need to curse people that need it. And then he slams something on the floor like a puff of smoke appears. And then the smoke fades away and all of the J-Flow girls just stare at Danhausen, who's still in there. And then we see him scurry off camera. And they all just start shaking their heads. 87 rated triple threat. Let's fucking go. A precursor to the TLC match. Alex Shelley versus Jimmy Uso versus Rey Fenix. And it is Phoenix who picks up the win. He pins Alex Shelley with a Meteora, 15-26. 64 for Shelley, 89 for Jimmy, 81 for Phoenix. The thing with these triple threat matches is, like, they're sort of power scaled. Like, in terms of singles competitors. Like, Jimmy Uso has a little bit of singles experience during the Bloodline stuff. Shelley is primarily a tag guy, and Rey Fenix is a tag guy, but has a lot of singles experience. So, like, he'd win this because he's the singles wrestler. And yeah. Rey Fenix with the win, the tag team champions picking up the win here tonight, and continuing their momentum towards SummerSlam and the TLC triple threat. We then cut backstage, and Gunther is backstage. You know, he's just, walking through the hallway when we hear, hey, Gunther! He turns around and Johnny Gargano gets in his face. And Gunther just laughs and goes, how can I help you, Johnny Wrestling? And he goes, don't you patronize me. I'm here on behalf of my wife. And Gunther just laughs and goes, of course. What else would you be doing? And he goes, last week, Candice was really disrespected by you being a part, ruining her chat with Adam Pearce for your stupid celebration about winning King of the Ring. Okay, why do you get to have yours on SmackDown, but mine has to be on Velocity? Okay, that's a whole other question, but apologize right now. Gunther just laughs and goes, she disrespected me by taking my time. I will not be disrespected. But luckily, I don't have to get my hands dirty, because I feel like Candice will be dealt with at SummerSlam. And he walks off. And Johnny goes, well, I tried. And he just walks away because he doesn't actually want to do anything to stop Gunther, but he had to stick up for his wife, who felt disrespected by, which is, of course, Candice being Candice, because, again, it was her who stormed out during what was Gunther's scheduled time. But then see, after that, the camera still pans on Gunther when we hear a commotion. We see people storm past him backstage. The camera follows, and Ilya and Randy are having a brawl. And, Ilya starts smacking Randy up against the wall. Randy fires out. He throws Ilya against the wall. They start brawling all over. People have to pull them apart. Have a pull apart brawl, brother. Let's go. And people pull Randy away, and Pierce gets in Ilya's face. He goes, Ilya. And we get a shot of Ilya's face where he's really intense and blood red. And he goes, calm down. He goes, don't you tell me to calm down, Pierce. How long have you known me now? I don't calm down. And he goes, I know, but just, we're going to settle this at SummerSlam, okay? SummerSlam, you get to get your hands on Randy one-on-one, okay? Not tonight. Not tonight. And he goes, I just need to, I'm going to get my hands on him, Pierce, and I'm going to take him out. And he goes, go be my guest, but just tonight, please, go home. And Ilya, of course, angrily, he throws something down in a rage. And he leaves. And then we do just cut back across to Gunther. He doesn't get involved in it. He sort of just stares across, just watching on. And you can see something in his face is a little bit different. Because normally Gunther is a, cocky, arrogant fellow. But something about this has sort of unsettled him. $93. Let's fucking go. We take that. That's why I just ran the match back. These two have nothing to do, so I thought let's give them a quick mini feud against each other based on, I don't know, who's the bigger, stronger woman. They're now tied. 1 win apiece as Jordan Grace gets the win over Nova with the fall from Grace in 16:27. 90 for Nova, 77 for Jordan, and a 93 for the match. So yeah, we'll take that. This could end up turning into our Mello and Andrade, for all we know. But yes, Jordan Grace picks up the win here tonight, and now both women are 1 apiece. Speaking of women on the rise here on SmackDown, Kayla's with Solani backstage. And Kayla goes, last week, we saw Sol, I think it was Sol, one of the two, yeah, it was Sol, came up short against Kyrie in your quest for the Liberty Championship. And, it's been Solani since you both came up here to SmackDown, but what's your future hold after that match? And Sol goes, Kayla, my future hasn't changed. Obviously, I still have my heart set on single success, and one day I will be Liberty Champion. But that day's not last week, because Kyrie's a hell of a competitor, and she's facing Ember at SummerSlam, and I wish her all the best, and I would love to run it back with her one day down the line. But I stepped up for what was an opportunity for me to take a championship. Me and Kelani, we're still together. We're still Solani. We're still the fastest rising tag team, most exciting tag team here in WWE, male or female. And coming out of SummerSlam, one thing is for sure. Whether it be Cora and Roxy, our old contemporaries, or whether it be Sasha and Bayley, our idols, Solani are coming for the tag team championships. And then Kelani takes a look and she goes, Sol, last week, I supported her in her efforts. But it just goes to prove that right now, we're both stronger together. So yeah, Solani, just letting you know, last week was a one-off. Sol Ruca just wanted a title shot. No hard feelings, and they are locked in on those tag team titles. But then here, Xavier Woods over there goes, no, stop. This show doesn't go on. This show doesn't go on. I never thought I would see the day that I had to do this. Especially after all those years of everybody going, E's gonna betray the New Day. E's gonna betray the New Day. When's E gonna stab these other two in the back and turn into a monster? And I said, nah, not E. If you think E's gonna turn into a monster, you don't know E. But turns out I didn't know E, because he waited 10 years before sticking the knife in the back and twisting it real hard because he's got nothing left to lose. E, get your ass out here to my ring right now and explain yourself. Big E comes out. And he goes, E, I understand I've been a bit strict recently. I just wanted what was best for the new day. But you have to be the hero because apparently you don't care about what's best for the new day. You want to continue to pander to these people. And last week, I lost my match because of you, E. And after that, you had the nerve, the audacity to throw me on the ground, to put your hands on your brother. Explain yourself, E. What is it? Is this a case of you finding out you had 6 months to live, so you're going to commit all the crimes you can because you don't feel like you've got to be held accountable because of the way your neck is held together by glue? And Biggie takes the mic and he goes, Woods, if you think I wanted to do that, then I guess you're right, you never did know, E. But I did that because I had to do that, Woods. Look at you. You're incensed. You've been crazy since WrestleMania. I've seen it. Kofi's seen it. These people have seen it. Come on, Woods. This ain't you. I do know you, Woods. I know the man I spent traveling up and down these roads with for 10 years. I know the man who was in there with me celebrating with Kofi, crying when Kofi proved the world wrong and became WWE Champion at WrestleMania. I know you were there crying when I became the World Heavyweight Champion. And when you became the World Heavyweight Champion, I was there too, Woods. That was the new day. That was us, man. But you shifted. Ever since WrestleMania, you shifted. I don't know if it was Neville. I don't know if it was something in yourself. And obviously, me hearing this news about my neck, it's made me a little bit emotional too. And it's made me realize that time is short. You never truly know how long you've got left, Woods. In this business cutthroat, you could have it taken away from you in an instant. And is this how you truly want to go out? You want people's lasting memories of the new day to be this? After all the joy, all the positivity we brought everybody for a decade? Nah. I do want what's best for the new day, Woods. And I can't let that happen. Not to you, not to Kof, not to my brothers, not to these people. I can't let that happen to the new day. And Woods just glares at Big E and he goes, And who died and made you the leader of the new day, huh? Who? Who was it, E? Because it wasn't me. It wasn't Gof. Was it you? Because last time I checked, we were a family, E. You don't get to make these calls. This is a group decision. And Kofi's not out here. He's not out here to tell us which side he's on. But I know a way to get him to. How about this, E? We settle this like men. Like brothers. We do Big E and Xavier Woods at SummerSlam. And Big E sort of says that he thinks about it. And he goes, if that's what it's going to take. If that's what it's going to take. Fine. I don't know how much more I've got left in me. But I wouldn't be Big E if I didn't give it everything I've got to save my brother. You want to settle this at SummerSlam? I accept. He drops the mic down, he just leaves out of the ring. And even Woods sort of doesn't really feel good about it. Because he knows, like, nobody wanted this. Nobody wanted it to come to this. But it has. One-on-one at SummerSlam. Big E and Xavier Woods. We then go back to the ring. Oh, no, we don't. We were in the ring, sorry. We go to ads after that. Then we come back and Julia comes and makes her way out to the ring. And obviously she's going to face any member of Queendom. Queendom's music hits. Out comes Cammy and the whole group. Megasis is the one at the front with her. And she laughs and goes, any member of Queendom, huh? This is what you want to do? Be brave. You want to be brave and take on the best we have? Well, you said you know who we want to face. You know who you want to face. You want to test yourself? You want to step in the ring with my Megasis? I'm more than happy to do that, Julia. But SummerSlam, it's a long way off. 8 days. I'm not even sure that's going to be enough, though, for you to recover. So instead, I've got a better idea for you. Tonight, right now, you go one-on-one with Yoko. Yoko sort of looks taken aback. She's like, no, I don't want to fight my fucking friend. And Cammy's like, well, she said any member of Queendom, and it's up to me to decide. Go. And Yoko just gets shoved into the ring. She has to fight her friend. And it is very stiff. Gets a 90, holy shit. Because, you know, Julia does, like, have a point here. She has to try and beat some sense into her best friend. And Cammy's just thrown her to the wolves, basically. And, yeah. Julia does pick up the win with the Beautiful Madness in 13:56. 76 for Yoko, 91 for Julia. So yeah, nice win. She continues her momentum streak. And, you know, again, Saya and the Megasis want to get into the ring and beat her up. And it's Utami who sort of like has to call them off and be like, no, you know, leave it. But, yeah. Julia, hopefully, beating some sense into her best friend in a night. We then head back to the Fatal Implements locker room. You know, after a long night of doing nothing but being bitches backstage, I guess. And they open the door, and immediately the door handle falls off. And JC's like, that was weird, because this arena's not really prepped us correctly. They open the locker room door, she gets to sit in a chair, and the chair breaks. And she goes, again, the locker room, something's clearly up with this locker room, it's not very manufactured very well. Who did the architecture on this thing, huh? She goes to sit in the locker, and the locker, like, falls apart as she sits in it. And she goes, what is going on, okay? Who's doing this to us? And then Selena goes, I think I did see that Danhausen guy come in here earlier on. And he's like, why would Danhausen be in our locker room? And what would he even be doing in here? And Fallon's like, I don't know, this place does seem quite... She goes, don't say it. She's like, cursed? So I guess it seems Danhausen has indeed struck a curse on the locker room of Fatal Influence here tonight. AJ Raid 6-man tag. That's pretty good, we'll take that. Yeah, just do a showcase match ahead of the gauntlet match at SummerSlam. It's Ricky, Neville, and Andrade against AJ, Cedric, and Tommaso Ciampa. The babyface team picks up the win. AJ pinning Neville with a Styles Clash in 14:39. 94 for Andrade, 95 for Neville, 91 for Ricky Saint, 66 for Tommaso Ciampa, 83 for Cedric Alexander, 77 for AJ. And yeah, I guess the momentum goes to these three ahead of next weekend's Summer Blockbuster Gauntlet, which all 6 of these men will be a part of, as will Okada, as will Montez Ford, as will Ludwig Kaiser, as will up to 11 other names. Speaking of, we see Io arrive, and then as she does, again, Gunther approaches Io backstage. And Io sort of like just looks cautious at him. And he goes, "Earlier on tonight, I was once again disrespected by your SummerSlam opponent. As somebody who respects you as an athlete, I'm going to need you to teach her a lesson for disrespecting me at SummerSlam. That is, if you are the athlete that you claim to be." Then he walks off and just leaves Io there. Io sort of like eyes Ludwig as Ludwig eyes her as they walk back. Tense exchange between Io and Gunther backstage. You know, Gunther's been in a lot. He's been around tonight, basically. He's basically been starting beef with everybody. It was him and Sammy, obviously. Then it was him and Okada. Then it was him and Io. And then he was also there with Gargano. He's got beef with Candice. He's been there for 2 weeks. He's got a lot of enemies already. Next week, it is the go-home show for SummerSlam. We do have one match set for the show. It is coming off of Julia's victory over Yoko tonight. Next week, she will face another member of Queendom. It will be her and Saya Kamatani next week, 1-on-1 here on SmackDown. She got to wait a little bit longer, I guess, if she did want to get her hands on the Megasis. But yes, Julia and Saya next week. But in terms of SummerSlam, we do now know more matches set for that show. The first being the first ever Summer Blockbuster Gauntlet match. Kazuchika Okada defends the Intercontinental Championship in that match. It'll be him. It'll be, let's see if I can remember them all off the top of my head. Him, Montez Ford, AJ Styles, Tommaso Ciampa, Cedric Alexander, Andrade, Neville, Ricky Saints, Ludwig Kaiser, and then 11 others will be in the mix. Obviously, you might not see all of those people because it can end at any time. But yes, first time ever Summer Blockbuster Gauntlet at SummerSlam. Plus, for the Liberty Championship, it is now official. One-on-one encounter. They were in a tag team match at Evolution, but now they get to do it with singles. Ember Moon, Kairi Sane, Women's Liberty Championship on the line at SummerSlam. Plus, a match we never thought we'd see, but it is now official. Big E, one-on-one with Xavier Woods. The New Day, potentially set to implode next weekend at SummerSlam. We then cut backstage. We see Io again, just chilling backstage, when Candice walks up to her with a dog collar around her neck, and she jumps Io backstage. A big fight breaks out between the two, and they continue brawling. Candice is trying to use the dog collar to attack her. Io grabs the other end, and they do start fighting and throwing hands at each other already. They can't wait till SummerSlam. No one's around to stop this. They've been busy all night, trying to stop Ilya and trying to stop. There was another fight, I swear. But yes, Candice and Io continue their brawling as they always do. It's on site between these two, of course. And yes, that fight continues. And then our main event. I don't know if I ever actually mentioned this, but it was set up after the opening segment. It's Sammy and Ludwig, one-on-one. Like I said, 92. Sami Zayn defeats Ludwig Kaiser with the Haluva kick in 16:28. 84 for Sami, 89 for Ludwig. Him outscoring the World Heavyweight Champion here. This is something funny I did want to mention, and this seems like the right time to bring it up. I did make a community post, immediately during Backlash, and I was like, oh yeah, we will be doing the John Cena Championship. Because obviously that's my goal. And the idea of having a belt called the John Cena Championship is very funny to me. And one of the things about it that everyone obviously is talking about is the fact that you can lose and still win. And how it basically becomes a popularity contest. But the thing with this game is, there is literally a number put to people's performances. So, in this situation, if this was a John Cena Championship match, Ludwig did better than Sammy. So, like, you could still give Ludwig the title. So, like, I was joking, like, half joking when I put the post out, but, like, if I do end up doing that, I think I would run it that way. Like, instead of doing you vote, I would base it on who scored the best in-game. Because then it really does, because, like, every time I try and do that, I'm like, I'm going to try and, like, take my biases out, which obviously is difficult, and look at the numbers. And that would just basically be the numbers-based championship, which would then be the unique spin on that. So I do actually think that in this game specifically, it actually could work out quite well. But yes, anyway, that was a rant. Sammy, he beats Ludwig with the haluva kick. After the match, Ludwig does get to his feet. He jumps Sammy again. Gunther's in the ring. He's ordering traffic. When the coin drops, out comes Okada. He rushes in to make the save. He, tries to take the fight to Gunther. And Ludwig gets in his way. Ludwig eats a Rainmaker. The fight continues to brawl. And then as these four men continue to brawl in the ring, we hear a commotion from the crowd. Because Io and Candice's fight spills out onto the ramp. And they end up spilling into the ring. I think they're probably locked each other in the dog collar already at this point. And they're just like brawling. Like they can't get away from each other. And it spills into the ring. Gunther's obviously in the ring looking disgusted. Again, he feels disrespected by this. And they continue to fight. Io knocks Candice down. She ends up ripping the dog collar off or whatever. She goes up top. She hits the over the moonsault on Candice. And then Gunther, he's sort of like that. He does smile at that. He sort of gets in Io's face. He goes to raise Io's arm. And then Okada steps in and like shoves Gunther away. And Gunther, now he feels disrespected by Okada, so he shoves Okada back. And then another fight breaks out. Io is just sitting there watching on. And yeah, commotion to end the show. But I can confirm, off of this, next week, the go-home episode of SmackDown, we will see a huge all-star tag team main event, champions against challengers, as the Women's World Champion IYO SKY teams with the World Heavyweight Champion Sami Zayn and the Intercontinental Champion Kazuchika Okada to face Gunther, Ludwig Kaiser, and Candice in a 6-person mixed tag team all-star tag match. What a main event for the go-home SmackDown. '98 show. Sure, we take those. What matters more those what you thought of the show. Do not leave in the comments below. And I'll see you on the other side for Velocity, where we do have a new Cruiserweight. Well, I say new. Johnny Gargano has the Cruiserweight Championship back. And he's going to host a celebration for having the championship back. I don't know, for being uncursed. One of the two. We kick off Velocity with a video recap of last week's main event. And Saquon Sugars and the rest of Dark State coming in to cost Javon Evans the Cruiserweight Championship. And they come out, and Saquon, he opens the show. And he goes, "You saw that, right? You saw what happened last week. Little Javon Evans, he got bitched out. Little Javon thought he was safe. He thought he was safe crawling over to SmackDown. He thought he was safe hiding away on King of the Ring where we wouldn't be so he could become my champion on this show. But I told you, Javon, as long as there's breath in both our lungs, you ain't holding that title on this show as long as Dark State's around. How you feeling now, boy? How you feeling now after I proved I am everything that I say I am? Not great, I assume. But it's great. Because sooner or later you'll learn your lesson. That for the benefit of you and your career, you stay off my show. You stay off Dark State's show. Because as long as you and I are around, you definitely ain't safe and nobody is safe. He's in action to kick off the show against Oro Mensah. in a 79. I'll take that. Oro gets an 83, 66 for Shaquan. And Shaquan does pick up the win in 14-24. So yeah, nice little win for him. He stands tall. He's celebrating. When Javon Evans' music does hit, he runs out of a steel chair. You know, nobody else in Dark State comes out because Hanzo has a match with Leon Slater coming up next. Or later on tonight, I believe. But just Javon and Saquon are in here. Javon brings the chair out. He chases them away. And he goes, "Bet you thought you were real slick, huh? Bet you thought you were real slick. Fair play, you got me. You got me good. If my success is getting to you so bad, Quan, that means I'm doing something right already. But you're right about one thing. My career, it ain't gonna go anywhere as long as you and I are both on this show. So I've been speaking to RJ City, and he says it's official. You and I get to do this dance at SummerSlam. Kickoff. Loser is banned from Velocity." And Saquon just laughs. He goes, "Why'd you sign away your career like that, Javon? You better hope you're as hard of a free agent as you seem to think you are, because you're going to be looking for work next weekend. See you there, Javon." So yeah, this is why I didn't feel as bad taking the belt off Javon so quickly, because I know it's only a kickoff match, but this is a non-title Velocity rivalry that's getting on a pay-per-view. And, like, that's a first time ever. But, yeah, Javon Evans, Saquon Sugars, loser will leave Velocity. 71, Leon Slater gets a 61, Hanzo gets a 78, and it is Leon who picks up the win here. So, don't quote me on this, but I believe what I'm about to say is correct. That this is the first... No, I think Javon's definitely pinned one before. But you don't often see a member of Dark State take a pinfall on Velocity. And that's happened tonight. Hanzo has been pinned by Leon Slater. And yeah, the young OGs already seem apt for the next shot at the Trios Championships. And this will seemingly only cement that case. But yeah, nice win for Leon Slater here tonight. Our next match is the Speed Championship match. Hook is in action. He defends the title against Zosiah, also known as new NXT superstar. What is his... Romeo something? Yeah. That's him, Zosiah. Hook picks up the win in for 3 minutes and 57 to make defense number 5 of the Speed Championship. 73 for Hook, 41 for Zosiah. And yeah, another defense in the books for Hook. I believe I said last week, no, fuck knows how long ago it was at this point, in real time, but I believe last time I said I was going to make the TV title more like a weekly television, or Speed title more of a weekly television title instead of doing the tournaments all over. So yeah, Hook retains the belt again. Out comes our new Cruiserweight champion to close the show, and he's happy as a pig in shit. And he goes, "I proved a lot of things last week. I proved to myself, to you people, to Candice, to everything, that the curse was real. The only reason why Javon Evans took this championship from my hands at King of the Ring was because I was cursed. Which bodes well for Candice at SummerSlam, since her curse is gone now too. But enough about the stupid curse, because I've got my championship back. And that can only mean one thing. Johnny freaking Wrestling is still the greatest cruiserweight competitor on planet Earth. RJ City, he can try as he wants, but there's nobody back there that's better than I am. I proved it. Javon Evans, he's supposed to be the ace. He's supposed to be the next up best cruiserweight competitor on the planet. I beat him. I took this championship from him and I proved that there's nobody on my level. No more stupid vampires getting in my way. No more dragons getting in my way. That's when Dragon Lee comes out. He finally makes his first appearance here in WWE. And he goes face to face with Johnny Gargano here on Velocity. And he has a microphone. And he goes, Johnny, you know exactly who I am. I am Dragon Lee. I am the greatest luchador of this generation. And I've arrived in Velocity as the hottest cruiserweight signing. RJ City gave me some perks. Johnny, from my debut match, it'll be you, it'll be me, it'll be the Cruiserweight Championship at SummerSlam. And then Gargano sort of looks a bit taken aback. He goes around and gets the cheap shot on Dragon Lee. He ducks. He hits that chasing the dragon, I think he calls it, the Destino. Yeah, he lays Gargano out. He grabs the Cruiserweight Championship. He holds it up high to close the show. Dragon Lee is here. This is like a big signing. I think he's got like 70 odd pop because he was in AEW for a bit before I signed him. That's where he's been. That's why he's not been in the say for ages, because he's signed to AEW before WWE got him in real life. He was at AEW in this game, so I had to wait for his AEW deal to come up, and it finally did. But he's at like 70 odd pop, so he's a big deal, like coming in. So yeah, this is like a big free agent signing. I wanted to put him on Velocity straight away because, like, in my mind, like with that sort of popularity and that cred, because I think he was a TNT champion as well. Like, he's like a reason to you tune into Velocity, because that's where you will see Dragon Lee. And obviously, with him being a hot free agent and him being popular and big and over, RJ gave him a title shot upon arrival, and it will be Dragon Lee challenging Johnny Gargano for the Cruiserweight Championship at SummerSlam. That one will be on the main card. That'll be a main card Cruiserweight Championship match. '62 show. I use Saquon Sugars too much. That's fine. I'll take the hit on Velocity. Doesn't really matter. I might as well you forward of the show, mainly of SmackDown. And I'll see you on the other side for Raw and their go-home show to SummerSlam. See you then.